My house was my favorite place, old, creaky, but safe. It was the kind of home where every floorboard had a story, and every corner felt familiar. The walls echoed with laughter and memories, and I always felt protected within them. I knew every sound, every shadow, the gentle groan of the stairs, the way the wind rattled the windows on stormy nights. None of it ever scared me. It was all part of the house's charm. I'd come home, drop my backpack, and feel relief. This was my fortress, my sanctuary from the outside world. Here I could let my guard down and just be myself. Then things started to vanish. First, my favorite blue pen. Gone from the kitchen counter. I searched everywhere. Nothing. It was as if the pen had simply evaporated into thin air, leaving no trace behind. Next, a single yellow sock disappeared from the laundry. Its partner left behind, looking oddly lonely. I checked under the bed, behind the washer, but it was nowhere to be found. More things followed. A key, the TV remote, even a half-eaten sandwich in the plate. Each time I felt a little more unsettled, as if the house itself was playing tricks on me. Each time my unease grew. The house felt less friendly, the shadows longer. I started to wonder if I was imagining things or if something else was at play. I started double-checking locks, peeking under the bed, closing the closet tight. I even began to keep a mental list of my belongings just in case something else went missing. But the feeling of being watched wouldn't go away. It was as if invisible eyes followed me from room to room, making the air feel heavy and strange. I'd get chills in the living room as if someone had just walked past. Sometimes I'd catch a glimpse of movement out of the corner of my eye, but when I turned, nothing was there. My safe place was turning into a trap. The comfort I once felt was slipping away, replaced by a growing sense of dread. I was no longer the king of my little kingdom. Instead, I felt like an intruder in my own home, powerless to stop whatever was happening. The house felt like it was hiding something from me. Every dark corner seemed to whisper secrets I couldn't quite hear. I couldn't ignore it anymore. Something was wrong. The feeling gnawed at me, keeping me awake at night, searching for answers. And I was caught inside, desperate to solve the mystery before I lost anything or anyone else. The last straw was my photo album. One evening I found it pulled out, a photo missing. Me, on my birthday. It felt like a message. I needed proof. My parents were away, so I bought a small camera and hid it in the living room. Its tiny lens watched over the room, my secret weapon. That night, every creak made me jump. I imagined the camera catching a raccoon or something explainable. At school I couldn't focus. I rushed home, heart pounding. The camera was still there, its light blinking. It had seen something. I pulled the memory card, hands shaking. I was about to see the truth. Whatever it was, I had to know. I braced myself and plugged it into my laptop. The moment of truth had come. I was ready, almost. I watched the footage, my heart pounding in my chest, every muscle tense. The room on the screen was so familiar yet suddenly felt alien, as if I was peering into a place I'd never truly known. For hours, nothing happened, just an empty room, silent and still. I almost gave up, convinced I was wasting my time. Then, out of nowhere, a shadow flickered at the edge of the frame. It wasn't human, far too tall, impossibly thin, its limbs moving with a jerky, unnatural rhythm like a marionette controlled by invisible strings. The thing glided into the room, its limbs bending at wrong angles, never quite touching the floor. My blood ran cold as I realized it was floating, not walking. The figure reached out, impossibly long fingers brushing over my pillow, then trailing along the bookshelf, as if searching for something only it could sense. It pulled out my photo album, its hands trembling as it removed the missing picture, and stared at it for a long, chilling moment, as if it recognized the face in the photo. Then, slowly it turned to face the camera, its attention shifting from the photo to me, as if it knew I was watching. It had no face, just a smooth, pale surface where features should have been, blank and unreadable, yet somehow more terrifying than any expression. But I could feel its gaze, cold and direct, as if it was staring straight through the screen and into my soul. It raised a long bony finger and pointed, right at the lens, right at me. The gesture was deliberate, almost accusatory. I slammed the laptop shut, but the image was burned into my mind. The faceless thing, pointing as if it had marked me. This was no dream, it was real and it was personal, and it knew I was watching. I was terrified, paralyzed by the knowledge that something inhuman had seen me, and there was no going back. For 2 nights I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, the image returned, vivid and terrifying. It haunted me, lingering in the shadows of my mind, making me question what was real and what was just fear. The creature had vanished near the hallway closet, the one I never used, the one that always felt colder than the rest of the house. My curiosity, mixed with dread, finally won out over my fear. I grabbed a flashlight, my hands trembling, and opened the closet door. A rush of cold, stale air hit me, carrying a scent of dust and something else, something old and forgotten. I pushed aside the heavy coats, heart pounding, and there it was, a faint outline in the wall, almost invisible, a hidden door. I pressed against it, feeling it give way beneath my hand. The door swung open with a low creak, revealing nothing but pitch-black darkness beyond. I hesitated, then stepped inside, my flashlight beam trembling. Inside was a narrow crawl space, the walls covered in crude, childlike drawings. They were all of me, sleeping, eating, watching TV. Moments I thought were private, now scrawled in disturbing detail. On the dusty floor, I saw a pile of my missing things, items I'd searched for and given up on, now gathered in a strange, unsettling collection. There was the pen I lost last month, a single sock, the remote, even a plate I thought I'd misplaced in the kitchen. All of it was here, abandoned and dirty. On top of the pile, I found a birthday photo, my own eyes scratched out with deep, angry lines. A wave of nausea and dread washed over me. Someone or something had been living inside my walls, watching me, stealing from me. I never even knew they were there, hidden just out of sight. The secret room was a nightmare come true, a place I never imagined could exist in my own home. Every shadow seemed to move, every sound echoed with menace. My house was never just mine. The sense of safety I once felt was gone, replaced by a chilling realization that I'd been sharing my space with something unknown. I had to get out. I needed help. But as I turned to leave, I realized with horror, I wasn't alone in the darkness. I backed out, heart racing. I had to see the rest of the video. I watched as the creature pointed, then glided to the closet, and faded into the wall. It had been living there all along, relief and terror mixed. At least I knew. I planned to leave, call for help, but the video kept playing. I watched myself enter the room, grab the memory card, sit with the laptop. Then behind me, a dark shape rose up. The faceless figure unfolded from behind the couch, right where I was sitting. I stared at the screen, frozen. It was happening now. The creature wasn't in the wall, it was here. I felt a chill on my neck. Reader, have you ever felt like you were being watched?